The room is silent except for the soft murmur of condolences, until my mother, Vanessa Hale, stands up. We're at my father's memorial. And she looks straight at me. This is where the truth comes out, she says, voice sharp, controlled. You are not his daughter. The words hit like a slap. I laugh at first. I actually laugh, because it sounds insane. But no one else is laughing. My older brother, Julian Hale, steps forward, holding a folder. We have proof, he says. My chest tightens. He doesn't hesitate. He explains it calmly, like he's announcing the weather. An affair. A mistake. A child my father chose to raise out of kindness. People start whispering. I look around the room, faces I've known my whole life, and suddenly, I don't belong to any of them. You've lived a lie, my mother continues. And today it ends. I try to speak, but my voice won't come out right. This is my father's funeral, I manage to say. What are you doing? Julian doesn't even look at me. Fixing a mistake. Then comes the final blow. You're not part of this family anymore. And just like that, I'm erased. But as I stand there, shaking, one thought cuts through the noise. Why now? I don't leave quietly. I demand answers. You don't get to say that and walk away, I tell them, my voice cracking but loud enough for everyone to hear. But my mother doesn't argue. She gestures to two of my father's longtime associates, men I grew up calling uncle. Please escort her out, she says. Escort. Like I'm a stranger. Like I don't belong here. I step back, heart racing. You're serious? Julian finally looks at me. There's no anger in his face. That's what hurts most. Just cold certainty. This was never your place, Ilara, he says. Dad just made it look that way. That breaks something inside me. I look toward my father's photo at the front of the room. He's smiling. Like he always did when he looked at me. And I know, this doesn't make sense. This isn't true, I say, quieter now. He wouldn't lie to me. My mother exhales like she's tired of the conversation. He didn't lie, she says. He pitied you. That's the moment the room turns against me completely. I'm escorted out while whispers follow me. I don't remember getting into my car. I don't remember driving home. But I remember one thing clearly. They didn't just reject me. They planned this. The house feels different when I walk in. Too quiet. Too empty. Like I've already been erased from it. I go straight to my room, half expecting my things to be gone. They're still there. For now. My phone is buzzing non-stop. Messages, missed calls. But I ignore all of it. Instead, I sit on the floor. And I replay everything. Every word. Every look. Every moment my mother didn't hesitate. That's what doesn't make sense. If this was true, why wait until now? Why wait until my father is gone? I stand up suddenly. Because something clicks. My grandmother, Evelyn Hale. She always watched everything. Always said strange things like, truth has a way of surviving. She died 3 months ago. And I remember something else. At her funeral, she squeezed my hand and whispered, "Don't trust what they say after I'm gone." At the time, I thought she was confused. Now, I'm not so sure. I walk to the hallway closet where her old belongings were stored after her passing. Boxes. Dust. Forgotten things. I kneel down and start digging. Because if anyone knew the truth, it was her. And I have a feeling. She didn't leave me empty-handed. It takes nearly an hour. Dust covers my hands. My knees ache. But I keep going. Until I see it. A small wooden box. Old. Worn. Locked. My breath catches. I've never seen it before. But something about it feels intentional. Like it's waiting. I pick it up carefully. There's no key. Of course there isn't. Grandma. I whisper. I shake it gently. Something moves inside. Papers. Maybe more. I try to pry it open, but it doesn't budge. Frustration builds fast. I slam it down harder than I mean to. And something shifts. A small panel underneath slides open slightly. I freeze. Then slowly, carefully, I open the hidden compartment. Inside. A tiny envelope. With my name on it. Ilara. My hands start shaking. I open it. There's a key inside. And one sentence written in my grandmother's handwriting. If they turn on you, it means the truth matters. My heart starts pounding. I look back at the box. Then at the key. This wasn't random. This was planned. And whatever is inside, it's meant to prove something. The key slides in smoothly. Too smoothly. Like it was always meant to be used. I hesitate for just a second. Then I turn it. Click. The sound echoes louder than it should. Inside the box. Stacks of documents. Old letters. And a flash drive. I grab the first paper I see. It's a hospital record. My name. My birth date. My father's name. Adrian Hale. I stop breathing. That's not possible. I flip through more papers. Official seals. Signatures. Dates. Everything points to the same thing. He's listed as my father. Not guardian. Not caretaker. Father. This doesn't make sense, I whisper. Because if this is real, then my mother lied. But why? I reach for the letters next. They're from my grandmother. Addressed to my father. I skim one quickly. And a single line stands out. She will never accept that you chose Ilara over Julian. My stomach drops. Chose me. Over him. That doesn't fit the story they told. Not at all. And suddenly, this doesn't feel like a misunderstanding. It feels like something much bigger. Something planned. And something dangerous. The flash drive sits in my hand. Small. But suddenly, it feels heavier than everything else. I plug it into my laptop. There's only one file. A video. My finger hovers over it. Then I click. The screen flickers. And then, my grandmother appears. Evelyn Hale. She looks older than I remember. Tired. But sharp. Ellie, she says softly, using the name only she called me. If you're watching this, it means they finally did it. My chest tightens. They were always going to try to push you out, she continues. Especially your mother. I shake my head slowly. No. This can't be real. They resent you, she says. Because Adrian loved you differently. Stronger. Tears fill my eyes. He knew what they would do after he was gone, she says. That's why he prepared. Prepared. For years, Vanessa tried to convince him you weren't his. But the truth is the opposite. I lean closer to the screen. Every word matters now. You are his daughter, Ilara. Without question. My breath catches. But that's not the truth they fear most. I freeze. What does that mean? And then she says it. The sentence that changes everything. They're not just trying to erase you. They're hiding what your father left behind. I replay that last part 3 times. They're hiding what your father left behind. What does that even mean? Money. Property. Something bigger. I go back to the documents. This time, I look closer. Not just at names, but details. There's a pattern. Dates. Transfers. Notes in the margins. And then I see it. A legal document. Partially signed. My father's name is clear. But the rest. It's incomplete. Or maybe. It was never meant to be finished. I scan the page. There's a clause. Something about inheritance. Something about division. And then. My name. Again. But this time, it's not small. It's central. Primary beneficiary. My heart starts racing. No. This doesn't line up with what Julian said. He claimed everything was already settled. That he was in charge now. But if this document is real, then everything they told me is a lie. And suddenly, it becomes clear. This was never about truth. This was about control. And they didn't just remove me from the family. They removed me from something I was supposed to have. The next morning, I go back. Not to argue. Not to beg. Just to see. But when I arrive at the house, my key doesn't work. I try again. Nothing. The locks have been changed. My chest tightens. A security guard I've never seen before steps forward. "I'm sorry," he says. "You're not authorized to enter." Not authorized. I laugh bitterly. I grew up here. He doesn't react. "I have instructions," he says. Of course he does. I step back slowly. And that's when I see Julian inside. Through the window. Watching me. He doesn't come out. Doesn't say a word. Just stands there. Like I'm already gone. My phone buzzes. A message. From him. "You should stop digging. It won't end well for you." I stare at the screen. Then back at the house. At everything they think they've taken. And for the first time, the hurt starts turning into something else. Something sharper. Because now I know. They're not confident. They're scared. And people don't act like this. Unless they have something to lose. I need help. But I don't know who to trust. Until one name comes to mind. Marcus Vane. My father's old legal advisor. He retired years ago. But he was loyal. To my father, not my mother. I find his number buried in old contacts. I hesitate. Then I call. He answers on the third ring. "Hello, Mr. Vane. It's Ilara." Silence. Then. "I was wondering when you'd call." My heart skips. "You knew?" I ask. "I suspected," he says carefully. "Your father prepared for this." Prepared. That word again. "I have documents," I tell him. "And a video from my grandmother." Another pause. Then his voice changes. Serious. "Do not show those to anyone yet," he says. "And don't go back to that house. Too late for that." "What's going on?" I ask. He exhales. "There are things you don't know," he says. "About your father. About your family." I grip the phone tighter. "Then tell me." "I will," he says. "But not over the phone." My stomach drops. "Why not?" "Meet me tomorrow," he says. "Because if what you found is real, this is much bigger than a family dispute." Marcus chooses a quiet place. Out of the way. Private. He doesn't waste time. "Your father didn't just build a business," he says. "He built leverage." I frown. Leverage against who? He looks at me carefully. "Your mother." That doesn't make sense. "They were partners," I say. He shakes his head. "No," he says. "They were opponents who learned to coexist." My chest tightens. "Vanessa wanted control," he continues. "Total control. Over the company. Over the family. And me." I ask. He nods. "You represented something she couldn't control." I don't understand. "Your father trusted you," he says. "More than anyone." That hits hard. "Which made you a threat." "A threat? To your own mother?" He leans forward. "There's more," he says. "But before I tell you." He pauses. "You need to understand this. If they're trying this hard to erase you, it's because your existence alone can destroy everything they've built." I freeze. Because that doesn't sound like family conflict anymore. That sounds like war. Marcus hands me a file. This is a copy, he says. The original is secured. My hands shake as I open it. It's official. Stamped. Signed. Final. My father's will. But it's not the version Julian described. Not even close. This was his last revision, Marcus says. Filed shortly before he passed. I scan the page quickly. Then slower. Then again. Because I don't believe what I'm reading. The majority of the estate is left to me. Not divided. Not shared. Me. There are conditions, Marcus adds. I keep reading. And there it is. A clause. If my identity is challenged, if I'm removed or discredited, then everything is frozen. No one gets anything. My heart stops. That means, I whisper. They can't access it, Marcus confirms. Not without proving their claim. And suddenly, everything clicks. The timing. The public accusation. The urgency. They weren't just removing me, I say slowly. They were trying to control the narrative. Marcus nods. But they made one mistake. I look up. What? They assumed you wouldn't fight back. I thought I understood. But I didn't. Not until Marcus shows me one more thing. A series of emails. Between my mother and a private consultant. Dates going back years. I read them slowly. And with each line, my stomach sinks deeper. She was planning this, I whisper. Marcus nods. Long before your father passed. The emails are cold. Calculated. Strategic. She talks about me like I'm a problem. An obstacle. Something to handle. But one message stands out. I won't let her take what should belong to my son. My chest tightens. Julian. This was about him. About securing everything for him. She believed your father favored you, Marcus says. And she resented it. Resented me. For being loved. So she created a narrative, he continues. One she could use when the time came. And Julian? I ask. Marcus hesitates. He followed her lead, he says. But he benefits from it. That hurts more than anything. Because it means. This wasn't just manipulation. It was a choice. And now I understand something clearly. They didn't just betray me. They planned to erase me completely. I sit in silence for a long time. Everything is clear now. The lies. The motive. The plan. They thought I would break. Disappear. Accept it. But something inside me shifts. Slow. Quiet. But solid. I'm not going to fight them emotionally, I say finally. Marcus watches me carefully. I'm going to do it the right way. Legally. Carefully. Completely. He nods. That's the only way you win. I take a deep breath. Because this isn't just about proving I belong anymore. It's about truth. About everything they tried to take. What's the first step? I ask. Marcus doesn't hesitate. We prove your identity, he says. Beyond any doubt. DNA. Records. Witnesses. Everything. And after that, his expression hardens slightly. Then we expose them. I nod slowly. Because for the first time since that day, I'm not scared. I'm focused. And as I stand up to leave, my phone buzzes again. Another message from Julian. You're making a mistake. I stare at it. Then type back one sentence. No. You already did. And as I hit send, I realize something. This isn't over. It's just beginning. The DNA test should have been simple, clinical, quiet, private. But nothing about this feels simple anymore. Marcus insists we use an independent lab, one with legal standing in court. No shortcuts. No room for doubt. As I sit there, waiting for the sample to be processed, my mind won't stop racing. What if something goes wrong? What if they've already tampered with records? Because at this point, I don't put anything past them. You're overthinking, Marcus says calmly. Truth doesn't change under pressure. I nod, but my hands are still shaking. Days pass. Slow. Heavy. Unbearable. Until the call comes. Results are ready. I don't open them immediately. I just stare at the envelope. Because once I do, everything changes. Finally, I take a breath and open it. My eyes scan the page quickly. Then stop. Probability of paternity. 99.99%. My knees almost give out. It's undeniable. It's final. It's everything. I knew it. I whisper. Marcus nods. Now they can't lie. But just as relief starts to settle, my phone buzzes again. Unknown number. I answer. A cold voice speaks. Some truths are better left buried. The line goes dead. And just like that, victory starts to feel dangerous. The news breaks before I can act. Not from me. From them. A public statement released by Julian. Carefully worded. Strategic. Recent claims regarding family matters are false and deeply hurtful. I read it twice. Then again. They're not denying me outright anymore. They're discrediting me. Painting me as unstable. Grieving. Confused. My stomach twists. They're shifting tactics, Marcus says. They know they can't win on facts alone. So they're attacking my credibility. He nods. And it's working. I scroll through comments. People are divided. Some defend me. But many believe them. Because they control the narrative. They're buying time, Marcus adds. And influence. I feel the frustration rising. They humiliated me publicly, I say. And now they're hiding behind statements. Because they're losing control, he replies. That's when something else hits me. If they're this desperate, then there's still something I haven't uncovered. Something bigger. Marcus, I say slowly. What else are they hiding? He doesn't answer immediately, which tells me everything. More than you think, he finally says. And suddenly, this isn't just about proving who I am anymore. It's about uncovering everything they're afraid of. Marcus calls me late that night. His voice is different. Urgent. You need to see this, he says. When I arrive, he's already waiting. Papers spread across the table. Bank statements. Transfers. Offshore accounts. This doesn't make sense, I say, scanning the numbers. It wasn't supposed to, he replies. He points to a name. A shell account. Recently active. Millions moving through it. Your father created this, Marcus says. But not for himself. I frown. Then for who? He looks at me. For you. My heart skips. What? It's protected, he explains. Hidden unless specific conditions are met. Conditions? Like what? Like you being pushed out, he says quietly. I stare at the documents again. This wasn't just preparation. This was strategy. My father knew. He knew they would try to erase me. And he planned for it. But something still doesn't add up. If this exists, I say slowly, why haven't they found it? Marcus's expression darkens. Because they don't know where to look. A pause. Then. Yet. And suddenly. This hidden account isn't just protection. It's a ticking clock. Julian shows up unannounced. At my apartment. Alone. That's the first sign something's wrong. You need to stop, he says immediately. No greeting. No pretending. Just pressure. I cross my arms. Or what? His jaw tightens. This isn't just about you anymore. That catches my attention. It never was, I reply. He exhales sharply. You don't understand what you're risking. I step closer. Then explain it. He hesitates. And that's new. Because Julian never hesitates. They'll destroy everything, he says finally. They. He freezes. Too late. Who else is involved? I ask. Silence. Then he shakes his head. You're digging into something you can't control. I feel something shift. This isn't just family anymore. There are other people. Other stakes. You're scared, I say quietly. He laughs bitterly. You should be too. And then he leaves. Just like that. But his words don't fade. Because for the first time, Julian didn't sound confident. He sounded trapped. And that means this goes deeper than either of us knew. Marcus calls me again. This is it, he says. What is? They made a move. My heart starts racing. What kind of move? They tried to access the estate. I freeze. But they can't, I say. Exactly, he replies. Which triggered the clause. The one in the will. The one that freezes everything. All assets are now locked, he explains. Until your identity is legally confirmed. I take a breath. So they just lost access to everything. Yes. For a moment. I feel it. Relief. Power. Justice. But it doesn't last. Because now they're desperate, Marcus adds. And desperate people don't play fair. As if on cue. My phone buzzes again. A message from my mother. First one since everything started. You've gone too far. I stare at it. Then another message comes. This ends now. One way or another. My chest tightens. Because that's not just anger. That's a threat. And suddenly, the balance shifts again. Because now, they have nothing left to lose. I didn't expect this part to hurt the most. But it does. Marcus hands me another letter. This one is from my father. Unopened. Addressed to me. I stare at it for a long time before opening it. Inside. His handwriting. Steady. Familiar. Ellie, if you're reading this, then everything I feared has happened. My vision blurs. I wanted to protect you from this, but I knew I couldn't stop it. I grip the paper tighter. They would never accept you the way I did. That confirms everything. But then, I made choices that put you in danger. I freeze. Danger. What does that mean? I built things to secure your future, but in doing so, I created enemies. My heart starts pounding. Enemies? Not just family. Not just my mother. Something bigger. I trust you to be stronger than all of this. I close my eyes. Because now I understand. This wasn't just inheritance. This wasn't just betrayal. My father wasn't just protecting me from them. He was protecting me from something else entirely. Marcus gathers everything. DNA results. Legal documents. Financial records. Emails. The video. All of this goes to court, he says. And once it does, there's no turning back. I nod. I'm ready. But before we file, he shows me one last piece. A recording. Not from my grandmother. From my mother. Secretly obtained. I hesitate before listening. Then I press play. Her voice is clear. Cold. If she stays, Julian loses everything. My breath catches. We need to remove her completely. There's no doubt. No confusion. No misunderstanding. This is intent. This is motive. This is everything. I look at Marcus. Is this enough? He nods slowly. It's more than enough. For the first time. There's no uncertainty. No fear. Just clarity. Because now, the truth isn't just mine. It's undeniable. And when it comes out, It won't just expose them. It will end them. The courtroom is packed. Tension everywhere. My mother sits straight, composed. Julian avoids my eyes. They still think they can win. That's the shocking part. The hearing begins. Arguments. Claims. Deflections. Then, Marcus stands. Your Honor, we present evidence. One by one. Everything comes out. The DNA. The will. The emails. The recording. The video. Each piece hits harder than the last. I don't look at them. I don't need to. Because I can feel it. The shift. The collapse. The truth spreading through the room. And then, the judge speaks. This evidence is conclusive. Silence. Heavy. Final. My identity is confirmed. Legally. Permanently. But it doesn't stop there. Further investigation into financial misconduct is recommended. I look up. Because that wasn't part of the plan. Marcus meets my eyes. Slight nod. And suddenly, this isn't just about winning anymore. It's about consequences. It happens faster than I expected. Accounts frozen. Investigations opened. Partnerships pulled. People start distancing themselves from my mother and Julian almost immediately. Because power built on lies doesn't last. I watch from a distance. Not with joy. Not with anger. Just clarity. Julian calls me. Multiple times. I don't answer. Then a message comes. We can fix this. I stare at it. Because now. He sounds like I did that day at the funeral. Desperate. Ignored. My mother doesn't reach out. But I hear things. Through Marcus. Through others. She's losing control. Fast. And for the first time. They're facing what they tried to do to me. Isolation. Reputation destroyed. Trust gone. And they did it to themselves. Because in the end, they didn't lose because of me. They lost because of the truth. Julian shows up again. This time. He looks different. Tired. Worn down. We can settle this, he says. I don't respond. I'll step back, he continues. You can take everything. Everything. It's almost laughable. Because now. It's too late. You had your chance, I say calmly. His expression tightens. I was trying to protect what was ours. No, I reply. You were protecting what you thought you deserved. Silence. Then, for what it's worth. I didn't think it would go this far. That's the closest thing to an apology I'll ever get. But it's not enough. Because some things don't get undone. I'm not taking anything from you, I say. You already gave it away. He doesn't argue. Because he knows it's true. And as he walks away, I realize something important. This was never about revenge. It was about standing in the truth, no matter what it cost. The legal battles end. The dust settles. And what remains isn't just money or property. It's something else. Something deeper. My father didn't just leave me assets. He left me protection, truth, and a choice to become something stronger than what they tried to break. I stand in his office for the first time since everything happened. It feels different now. Not heavy. Not painful. Just mine. I pick up his old photo again. And for the first time, I don't feel like I'm asking questions. I feel like I understand. He knew I would have to fight. And he trusted me to win. Not by becoming like them, but by refusing to. And that's what matters. Because in the end, I didn't just prove who I am. I proved who I'm not. If you had asked me before that day, I would have said family is everything. Now, I know better. Family isn't about blood alone. It's about truth, loyalty, And the choices people make when it matters most. They tried to erase me. They tried to rewrite my story. But here's what I learned. The truth doesn't disappear just because people lie louder. It waits. And when it comes out, it doesn't ask for permission. It takes everything back. My mother lost control because she built her life on fear and jealousy. Julian lost everything because he chose silence over integrity. And me. I lost the illusion of who they were. But I gained something stronger. Myself. So if you're watching this, remember, people will doubt you when it benefits them. Some betrayals are planned, not accidental. Silence can be just as harmful as lies. And the truth will always surface. Not immediately. Not easily. But eventually. And when it does, make sure you're ready to stand in it. Because that's how you win. If this story made you feel something, anger, shock, satisfaction, comment what you would have done. Like if you believe truth always wins. Share with someone who needs this reminder. Because stories like this, they happen more than people admit.